because I think it's fun to collect those kinds of things.
Bruh.
All right, we're ready. You ready?
We're ready?
Yeah.
Yes, bitch.
Thank you. Welcome to a new episode of the Book Buddies podcast. I'm joined today by with uh
What the
I'm
skeleton?
joined today with Alpharius,
yeah,
and Alpharius,
and
me, Alpharius.
and don't forget we've also got special guest Alpharius today. Who usually Alpharius isn't on these episodes, but we're doing another Warhammer one, so Alpharius decided to to join us. Um, gonna get a lot of use out of that one. Do we want to kind of get into kind of the overview of the story with this guy, this quirky little guy? Because if so, I'll go ahead and I'll take the lead.
Go for it.
So Alpharius, like all of the other Primarchs, his story kind of starts with him talking about this. This is all from his perspective, which is kind of cool because the other ones kind of hop back and forth, and I know sometimes it can get confusing, but this is just from his perspective. And he wakes up in the middle of nowhere, and there's these dudes that are like scouting in the little thingy he was found in, trying to see if there's any good scrap. And he's like standing there thinking about how like he knows like stuff, and then he's like, I know my name. And then he's like watching them, and he's like, I could kill these guys if I wanted to. I don't know how I know that. That's pretty wild. And then the Emperor shows up, and he's like, hi, kill these little dudes. And he goes up to Alpharius, and he's like, you're my son. But it's crazy because the Emperor wasn't speaking with his mouth, he was doing it with his mind. And basically the Emperor takes him back to the Imperial Palace. He introduces him to Malcador the Sigillite. And Malcador the Sigillite's like, we're going to teach you how to make it to where people can't read your mind, blah, blah, blah. Your real test is to see how long you can stay undetected by Constantine Valdor, who's like head of security, yada yada. Flash forward, Alpharius concocts this plan to assassinate the Emperor, and then he gets caught by Constantine Valdor right when he was about to like shoot at the Emperor and shoot at him. And Alpharius gets caught, and they fight, but then Alpharius rigged one of the gun batteries to where he could shoot the transport the Emperor was in out of the sky if he wanted to. And Alpharius is like,
I'm so smart. I had it all planned out.
Yeah, that's Alpharius' entire character.
And the rest of the book kind of just follows him going around doing silly little sneaky things with his Marines, talking about how cool he is, but also about how he knows out there that there's another Primarch that like shares part of his soul with him. And like that's mostly like the later third, I guess you could say, of this book is him like searching for this other Primarch. And there's nothing too crazy about it. It's cool, but like that's the long and short. And then he finds this other Primarch, and they look exactly the same. And they're like, huh, and then this other guy's like, huh, and the other guy's like, I'm Omegon. And then they hatch a plan to wait till all the other Primarchs are found, and then reveal themselves, basically, but they're only going to reveal that one of them exists. And that's kind of the long and short of it. Do you guys have anything to add?
That was, in fact, an overview of it.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that one.
Yes,
Yep,
that's the summary.
that's the summary. What do you guys think?
But it was quite good.
Jordy, do you want to go
It's-
first? Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say,
Uh,
since you have the least Warhammer knowledge.
So it's hard to say. I did like this one. I liked it just about as much as the Sanguinius book. Um, I think the character of Alpharius was more interesting than Sanguinius, but I was still, especially like that first half where we're just kind of following Alpharius around and he's not really doing anything that he expects conflict from. I feel like that was a bit boring in a way. And I don't know, I wanted growth. I wanted to see him go through something that changed how he perceived the world.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't get that from Sanguinius either. Like both of these characters are pretty all right, I'm born and this is how I think and that's it.
Yeah.
And I guess that sort of thing is why I really liked Conrad Kurz's story, because the whole time he's just kind of lamenting I am this way, I kind of hate being this way, but I also kind of love being this way, and that was really entertaining, and that kind of hits exactly what I want to read about from people.
Mhm.
So, but other than that, once we get into the second half of the book, where Alpharius has a more clear goal that he's trying to achieve, and he's clearly what's the word? Seeing barriers to that goal.
Mhm.
That was pretty interesting still. So, this was still a good 4 out of 5 stars for me.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and I think part of that is just simply the fact that most of these are kind of the backstory to the Primarchs, where Conrad Kurz was the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
That was the beginning to the end of the story. Caden, Phoebe, what about you guys?
If you would like to go first, Hebert.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, y'all. They just gave us this on Discord. It's gonna be a problem for a while.
Yeah, they give us a soundboard. What am I gonna say? I like it because the whole time, I guess the best way to describe Alpharius is a wily bastard. He's just always doing some sort of scheme or tricking people and messing with them. Like when oh wait, what are the rules on spoilers for the book?
Well, the assumption is that they've already read the book.
If you have not
Because this
read
is
the book.
yeah. If you haven't, go read it. Because this is like a recording of our book club. You know what I mean, Phoebe?
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're good to say whatever. And
Okay.
if you get
Then
spoiled,
one of
it's
my
your own damn fault.
Yeah, I guess spoilers ahead. The 2 points I loved the most that kind of summarizes, the Alpha Legion itself and Alpharius's plans is right at the beginning when he sneaks onto Horus's ship, and he's like, even if they did recognize that this ship flying towards them had a person in it, there's no way they would get out of the ship. So as I'm walking up to their hull, they would also think, there would be nobody walking on the hull that would also know the door codes. So as I enter the door codes and I see there's nobody at the Sarlacc, it's just shit like that. And then when he when he reveals the Alpha Legion, who, what's his name? The guy who just woke up, Lionel Johnson. It's oh, I'm Alpharius. I speak for the Legion. And Lionel Johnson's oh, I see your aren't your Legion still looking for their Primarch? Haha, yeah, sort of. And then they leave. That's done. And then he just turns to a random fucking Alpha Legion soldier and says, "You're Alpharius now," and just leaves.
I also like in that same meeting, I believe the wording is like, the lion is like, in what capacity do you speak for your legion? And Alpharius's answer is, I am one of many. And it's just like, damn.
Yeah,
What about you, kid?
because that's
Oh.
sorry. Go ahead.
I don't want to fix him. I want to make him worse. He bad, but he also bad. I fucking love how mustache twirling stupid Alpharius is in his plans, and it's really the best part for me. It's
Yeah.
like he's such a shitter. Like he's constantly talking about like, oh yes, my brothers are so smart and good, but I'm better. But I don't want glory. I just want to be better for the Emperor. And he's such a bastard, man. It's so good.
Yeah, a lot of this is just him being like, well, a normal person couldn't do this, but, I'm not a normal person, so, I can basically do whatever I want. And he's like, I love how often he's like, this isn't arrogance, this is just the reality of what it is to be a Primarch. Like, he's so arrogant, and he's constantly trying to make it seem like he's not. It's
Yeah, I noticed that too. I highlighted every time he was like, my legion doesn't care about seeking glory. And then, like, not even a page later, they'd be like, I found myself wanting glory and recognition.
and I
like-
mean, it's cool that he's kind of self-aware about it. But what a little chodester.
But I mean, he did say, I didn't realize I highlighted it. In the very first chapter, I highlighted, this is my record and all the records lie. So, I mean, he is kind of just, hey.
Yeah, that's
That's the
first
best
fucking
part.
sentence
No, the first sentence
is
I am
It's-
Alpharius. This
I
is a
am
lie.
Alpharius.
And technically it is. Spoilers. It's Omegon who is in that scene because they swapped. They were like, okay, brother, you're going to pretend to be me, and then I'm going to pretend to be you.
Or is it?
Who's to say?
That's why I think calling them wily bastards is the best summary.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts in this book is they're on the ship to go down to one of the planets to get information on the whereabouts of Omegon. And they're talking about the names of the ships, and like the captain of the ship they're currently on is like talking shit about how like every ship seems to be named the what is it, the Jewel of Terra,
Yeah,
or something like that, like the Pride of Terra.
Glory to Terra, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Says, wouldn't it be funny if we just had a legion where all the ships were the exact same name? And Alpharius goes,
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
yeah, and then in like the next chapter, that's when they run into the lion, and that's when this whole bit where he like starts giving them all the name Alpharius to use.
Not to mention that a lot of his legion look like him. Were like either genetically modified or got surgery, facial reconstruction to look like him.
Yeah, and he's so in this grand scheme of things, he's actually a smaller Primarch. He's one of, I guess the twins are the smallest Primarchs, but their Space Marines are just a little bit bigger. So what happens is it kind of evens out to where you can't really tell the difference between them when they've all got armor on. And that just makes it so much worse because it's like they all look like regular Space Marines. He's not like Magnus the Red where he's like 20 feet tall.
Which is entirely his choice.
Yep. Man. What a jerk. Caden, Phoebe, I know Jordy kind of went into some complaints. What about you guys? You guys have any complaints with this?
Nothing aside from the usual complaints about Warhammer novels. That they're a little pompous, and not even in like the Alpharius being a shitter. Just I feel like Warhammer books are very like we are. What's the word I'm looking for? Not quite like self-indulgent, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean that's just an issue I have with Games Workshop writing in general, though.
I think I will add on. Out of the 3 Warhammer books we've read now, this one did have my least favorite writing style too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can kind of get behind that,
It
especially.
was a little kind of, I don't want to say up its own ass, because it wasn't that bad. There was just sometimes some of Alpharius' dialogue was just a little so wordy, big
Yeah.
words.
When why 4? Because you could use small.
Real.
Alpharius said gay rights.
He did.
He did say gay
Oh,
rights.
yeah.
I like when they do the
There's-
fake out of like, I have to silence them. They know too much. So I offered them a job on my ship.
Yeah.
It's got great benefits too.
I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
I also
of
like
just... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
out of every single thing written for Warhammer so far, this is like one of the very few things with gay people in it, and it's just like they don't. I don't want to do a thing where it's like they don't make it the main problem. It's like it's normal to them because like this is again 40 million years in the future. Like it would absolutely just be a thing at this point because they also point out that their daughter is genetically theirs because it has traits from both parents because they can just do that.
Yeah. Gene crafting.
Reminder: the Imperium sucks not because they don't like minorities or people of different sexualities. They suck because they're a meat grinder.
Yeah, who hate they hate humans who are largely physically different. So like they hate mutants. But if you're just like a normal human and you're gay, you're fine because you can still serve
Yeah.
the emperor and die on the front lines.
Yeah. It's so wild to see. We're gonna get into some Warhammer politics, but I'll see people online try to claim that like any kind of non anyone that's like not cishet is like heresy in the eyes of the Imperium, and it's like it's really not. It's really kind of not. You kind of just don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and are trying to use your space game to play pretend your actual deep rooted bigotry. And it's cool to see books like this like specifically point out that the Imperium doesn't care. Like Caden said, the Imperium is bad because people go in one end and dead people come out the other end, and then they take the dead people and then they make it into
They
corpse
make
starch,
it into food.
and then they feed that to the people to put it in the end again. And it's just like, I don't know, how can you not get it? Maybe if you actually spent time engaging with the media instead of reading Wikipedia articles, but what do I know?
Oops.
Or watching people on YouTube who just make jokes about it who are just as bad.
Ooh. Oopsie.
But yeah, that was pretty cool to see. I thought all the space marines in this book were actually pretty cool. They actually had some personality.
They were like,
That's
of
because
course. Oh, go ahead.
that's because they're allowed to. Because Alpharius treats his legion way differently from anyone else, any other Primarch.
Kind of wild that the dude who's all like, "We are all one. One is all," is like, I love how individual and diverse my team or my legion is.
Yeah.
My
That's-
legion comes from 100 different worlds.
That's, I think, another reason why I like this book so much is because of all the like blatant hypocrisy and like not innuendos. What's the word? It's like double standards. Is that the word? It's like he'll say a thing and do a thing, but then like do the opposite later, and it's like that shows up everywhere in the book.
Yeah, contradictions.
Contradiction. That's the word.
Yeah, and it's kind of difficult to like, I guess, place them because I have no problem with a character like having the contradictions, but a lot of them are just kind of there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even seem
Yeah.
like for fun. They're just kind of out there in the open. And I'm not really quite sure what I'm supposed to take away from that.
The idea is that he could be lying this whole time. Like, that's the whole point, is that this book could just be bullshit. Where, like, the other Primarchs have a pretty set in stone origin. I know that this is, like, one of, like, 3 or 4 different origins for Alpharius. So there's no... It's one of those where, like, it gets rewritten, and instead of, like, the new one's the canon one, it's like, maybe this is the
They're
real one, but
all
maybe
true
not.
and they're all lies.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's just
Which
kind of...
also fits Alpharius for just being a lying shitter, even in his own personal memoirs.
Yeah.
Like, even down to the fact, so he's the Primarch of the 20th Legion. Roman numeral for 20 is XX. Double cross.
Double cross lead.
Oh.
Yeah, there's also a very popular theory that there's a third Primarch for the Alpha Legion.
Yep. Yep.
Because if you look at their symbol, it's the Hydra. There's 3 heads, and with the Alpha Legion, they have a rule on the tabletop. I am Alpharius. If the HQ unit dies, can't any other infantry unit be picked to
Core.
be
The
HQ?
way it
Core.
worked, I don't know if it still works this way, but what would happen was you've got your hero units, your HQs, and you pick one to be a warlord. This is both for the audience and Jordy alike. You pick one to be the warlord. The warlord gets a special power and usually some kind of special item. And the way it used to work is with the Alpha Legion, when you killed that warlord, then the next HQ unit you would pick one of the other ones and they would become the warlord. This is significant because there's certain like objectives in the game that require you to kill the warlord. And so like you would kill that warlord and then it would be like, yeah, but actually this one's my warlord now. And then you kill that one. It's like, well, actually now this one's my warlord. So it wasn't like super crazy, but it was still thematic and fun. I don't know if it's still around though.
I like it.
And
I wish Games Workshop would do more shit like that, like just kind of crazy thematic stuff, even if it isn't necessarily balanced.
It also plays into their whole motif, like the Hydra, cut off one head, 2 more take its place. It already starts off with like 3 heads. Yeah. But again, I do wish they did more stuff like that in the tabletop. Like I think it was either homebrew or it was an old rule where the Snaz wagon could fit as many models.
It was the truck.
Stack.
It was the truck.
The
Because
truck.
the truck's their transport.
Yeah, so you could just stack like 30 fucking orc models in this triangle pyramid thing, and it'd let you transport all of them.
But that's another rant for another day.
For another video.
Yeah. Is there any other thoughts we have on this guy? Because I feel like we're getting close to a wrapping up point. Unless you guys have more to add.
Not really.
The only other thing I looked in my highlights, I don't remember if it ever was brought up in other books, but if I remember correctly, this is the first book that mentions any sort of food, like specific food, and it's when he visits the vegetable stall for intelligence.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why, but that just like stuck out to me so much. I was like, well, I want to know more about their vegetables. That's kind of not fair.
Well,
I mean, I doubt there's vegetables in the tabletop version. I understand.
No. It's more. They eat something called corpse starch.
Gross.
You've seen.
Soylent Green.
Yeah, it's Soylent Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the only thing. They'll have like local foods. Like even Hydra cities will have like hydroponic grown stuff or like rat kebabs.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, and if you're higher up in the Imperial echelons, you do get access to more stuff from like the agri worlds, which are like whole planets dedicated to like 1 or 2 crops. Which, if there's ever a potato famine, that planet's fucked. But
Well, they supply
so, like-
soldiers now.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's good soldiers too. Is farm workers for like 40 million years. They've been doing nothing but working. So
Funny enough, the Tao books actually have a pretty big section about Tao cuisine.
That's
Which
epic.
I think it's really funny that the fucking alien book goes hard as fuck about food, and all the Imperium just kind of glosses over their food.
yeah, and I think the comparison to Soylent Green is really funny because in Soylent Green, it's like a last ditch effort. They're trying to like hide it from everyone best they can. In Warhammer, they just have so many dead bodies that it's the easiest food source, and everyone knows what it is. It's in the name, corpse starch.
Ugh.
YOLO.
YOLO.
Fuck it, we ball.
Fuck it, we ball. Yeah.
Bruh.
Is there anything else?
I'm kind of surprised they don't talk much about the heresy at the end once he finds Omegon. But I mean, I guess it's okay. There are many other books on the heresy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I like seeing more of the functioning Imperium rather.
Yeah.
I like the parts when he talked about Lehman Russ. Those were pretty funny to me.
I like how Lehman's just quite literally every time he's described by other Primarchs except for like Malgus, he just kind of vibing. He
Yeah.
doesn't really do much except for drink and talk shit.
The man who made Astartes pattern alcohol to make
Astartes
Literally,
pattern.
ju-
Mark 1
That's what
pattern
it is.
alcohol.
the Fenrisian ale, and it's like, so Space Marines are designed to make it really, really, really hard to get intoxicated, and he found a way to get intoxicated.
Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good book. It was fun.
Pretty good.
See you.
This is my third favorite Legion, so.
This is probably my favorite Space Marine Legion.
Is the Mortarion book any good?
I don't know.
Oh, I haven't read it yet, but I've heard good things about it.
That would be fun to read. I feel like Mortarion would probably be right up Jordy's alley.
What's his name?
He's
Mortarion Corruption
Mortarion.
Arc.
That's his
Mortarion.
entire. Yeah, that's his whole thing. Is just kind of failing and getting mad, and not being able to do much about it.
You'll never guess what his
But
Legion's
also-
name is. It's the Death Guard, led by
That's pretty-
Mortarion.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty clever, huh?
Well, there's plague. Yeah, but there's also the Plague Marines. Not all Plague Marines are Death Guard, but all Death Guard are Plague Marines.
What's that one dude? Typhus?
Typhus, yeah, he's actually really cool. He gets the big scythe.
Would you believe me
Um,
if I told you that they like death and disease?
Actually, Mortarion hates the fact that he felt the chaos.
Yeah, and then there's Giga Chad Fabius Bile, who's like, I reject the Chaos Gods. They don't exist. I do not believe in them. That's cringe.
They're just a tool. I wait. I thought he was a part of the, or was a part of the, whatchamacallums, Fulgrim's army.
Was he?
Oh,
He was
I think he
a
might
Death
be.
Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is Emperor's Children.
Oh, I'm bleeding. That's neat.
That's another
Also
good part of the book when Alpharius talks about stealing the design for the spear he uses from the Emperor's Children. He was just like, yeah,
Oh,
this wasn't in production yet, but I know a guy, so now I have one. Or when they talk about like how they'll either operate in like completely unpainted armor, or they'll steal the colors of other legions. But there's a big one that they didn't mention in the book, which is supposedly the first legion to get the Corvus pattern armor, the ones with the beaks. was the Raven Guard. Surprising, I know. Who would have thought? But apparently the Alpha Legion was using that armor before any other Legion got it, because they stole the designs for it and started making it for themselves before everyone else. Because they're assholes.
I can never tell if Malcador's like a proud father or just tired of dealing with their bullshit.
Yeah. There's also like theories that like in current Warhammer, there's so many splinter groups of the Alpha Legion that it's not uncommon for different shadow organizations of the Alpha Legion to be fighting against themselves, because it's like there's so many different like orders and it's all winding in around each other, and it just kind of folds in on itself.
Because technically they're a traitor legion, but they consistently kill other traitor legions or like go to war against other traitor legions.
Yeah.
I think that's also perfectly in line with the Legion. Ryan loves this theory where, with the double cross, is that the biggest lie is that they are traitors.
Yeah.
As we feel throughout the book, he's pretty adamant about the whole I am the Emperor's sword in the darkness. I am the thing that protects the Imperium from itself.
Yeah, and the idea is that like he's playing the long con, like he set up the entire Horus Heresy because he didn't like the direction it was going. It wasn't like in line with the Emperor's vision. So he's like set everything up and like the dominoes are just still falling. I don't know. It's kind of neat. If Phoebe, Caden, if you guys had to give it a numerical rating, what would you give it? Because I think Jordy gave it a 4 out of 5.
I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5, I think.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, me too. Just because, as a big Warhammer fan, and understanding all the lore and like the general feel of these legions, it is a very good like peek into the Alpha Legion and how they usually operate.
Bruh.
Sorry.
Good answer.
I just thought this brass was funny.
Go.
Oh, you guys think it's a good time to wrap it up then?
I'd say so.
You can find me on Twitter at YYNWed. What about you guys? Any social media?
No.
We have a link tree.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Bruh.
Points to the link tree.
Bruh.
Yeah, the link tree's in the description.
Description.
The description. Yeah, just go click that.
Yeah.
Because I'm stupid.
What are we reading next month?
We're reading The Princess Bride, which I've already actually finished it. It's really short, but it's pretty good. So I'll probably end up rereading.
It's got Columbo in the movie.
Yeah, it's got the audiobooks read by the director of the movie. That was pretty tough.
That's pretty epic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
I guess with that, don't forget to like, comment, and